Good morning. Happy Monday.
What is
good? Nothing is good. Well, it's a beautiful another beautiful morning after a beautiful weekend, unless you are a Celtics fan.
Yeah.
And I don't know where does one begin?
I got a couple ideas.
Yeah.
Is it Joe Mazzulla? Is it Jason Tatum?
Stop right at Joe Mazzulla. You ain't got to go further than that.
We don't have to go further
You
than
ain't gotta
Joe
go
Mazzulla?
further than that.
Does the man know what a timeout is? Could somebody share with him, in case he doesn't know, that it's okay if you have 10 seconds left in a basketball game to take a timeout?
Well, you would think so.
Is that possible?
But then he's like, that was our game plan for the end of the game. If we have to drop a play, that's the right look. That was the right. It's like, so we're getting it to Marcus Smart at the end of every single game and in overtime.
Why?
That's the guy we're going with.
That's the last person who should be shooting the basketball at the end of a game. I don't understand it.
And why do we, and Wiggy, you are the basketball mind here. Why do we take so long when we have seconds left in overtime?
Oh my God.
We're dribbling around and we're not taking the shot. I don't understand. And the great
18
shot
seconds.
that he gets.
Wiggy, did Tatum know that it wasn't tied? Because he acted like the game was tied.
No. If you're talking about the second overtime, right?
There was only one overtime.
First overtime.
Yes, not the end of regulation.
Smart walks the ball up slow, and then dribbles. By the time Tatum gets the ball, there's 7 seconds.
Right, and then he dribbled for 5.
Yeah, and then he dribbles and tries to see, because they sent a pick towards him with Derek White, which obviously all that does is clog things up. I hate when they do that. And then by the time they make the decision, they're behind the play clock. And by the time Smart actually gets it, it's too late.
But why is Jason Tatum not taking the shot? Explain it to me.
Well, you can't force that. Now, I did not mind the read from Tatum. I thought he made the right decision at both the end of regulation, I believe, and the end of overtime. I thought he made the right read, makes the right decision to go there rather than just force up a stupid shot. And then we're like, Tatum, why are you doing that? He makes the right read, but it just happened too late. Call the timeout and do all that stuff. And Scal brought up a great point on NBC Boston, which I thought was really good. At that point, you're only down by 1. So why are you not playing for a 2-shot situation than a 1-shot?
Yeah.
Where if you go a little bit sooner and you miss, at least you can foul, send them to the free throw line, and have another opportunity.
I mean, it's now a best-of-3 series, and I have faith in the Boston Celtics, but I don't understand why you end up allowing these teams to hang around.
But they looked terrible in the beginning of the game. I thought, no way are they going to get this one. Now that they get back into it, I'm like, all right, we've got momentum at a perfect time. And then to just let it get down to the final seconds. And credit to Jaylen Brown, made a terrible mistake doubling Embiid and leaving Harden out for that 3. And he said after, that was on me. I shouldn't have ever done that.
Right.
Everybody watching that game when they took that timeout knew that somebody was going to be open for a 3. Everybody was going to go towards Embiid and he was going to get it out. It was like, I just don't understand his thought process during that.
Who, Jalen?
Jalen.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're going to let anybody shoot a 3, let it be Maxey, PJ Tucker, or Tobias Harris, right? It's almost...
But don't leave anyone open either.
No. But if you're going to double...
They were tripled on Embiid.
My point is, if you're going to run the same way they ran a triple team at Tatum at the end of overtime, if you're going to run a triple, then you leave a guy like Marcus Smart or whoever else is on the court other than Jaylen Brown. In that situation, if you're going to run a double or a triple at Joel Embiid, don't leave Harden open, especially when he's having a game like he's having. Let one of the other 3 guys shoot the wide open 3.
You got this all squarely on Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah,
again,
I mean, obviously
right?
Tatum was trash in the first half. Trash.
Well, Doris Burke said, au contraire, he's getting rebounds. What a great first half.
No,
God, does she suck.
He was trash in the first half.
She is very good at her job, but man, was she pulling for the Sixers.
And then in the second half, obviously, he stepped it up. But you did enough in the second half where you came back, your team had the lead, you hit the game, the go-ahead 3-pointer. It's just... bad decisions by Mazzulla at the end of the game, whether it's not calling timeouts, even if you're going to call a timeout, just to say to the guys, hey, whatever we do, Jalen, don't double Embiid and leave Harden open.
Right.
Or whatever we do, call a timeout. Here's the play we want to draw up. There's 18 seconds left to go in the game. I think after who hit the go-ahead bucket there? Was that in overtime?
It was Harden.
Was it Harden?
Yeah.
Here's what we need to do. There's 18 seconds left. Let's call a timeout. We'll get the ball over.
Yeah.
We'll go early just in case we miss and we can foul so we'll
Yeah.
have another chance. But there's just like none of that.
Well, and Greg, I hated yesterday the reaction where it was one or the other. It was either Mazzulla cost them the game or it was Tatum's fault.
Yeah.
It's both. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that we like to pick sides, and I'm the king of that, but Joe Mazzulla absolutely has to call a timeout there. And I wish someone would ask him, are coaches that call timeouts to set up a final play dumb? Really? Right? So every other coach in the history of basketball is a moron, but Joe Mazzulla's Einstein. Okay? And the other is that Tatum, at some point, he has to try and be like his idol and get that Mamba mentality and be like Kobe.
Yeah, but you can't force shots. Even Michael Jordan didn't force shots.
It's not that, Wiggy. It's just, you said it. You acknowledged it. He wasn't there.
Oh yeah, he wasn't there in the
Yeah.
first
Wasn't
half.
there
But I'm
in the
saying,
first half
I'm
of the
saying
basketball game.
at
Like-
the end of the game, the first half he played like trash. At the end of the game, you stepped it up in the second half. I think even Eddie Howe said in the second half, like, you got to come and you got to eat. So in the second half, he comes out and plays, right? And I agree with Doris, was a lot of good decision making he made. But at the end of the game, I just don't want you forcing up shots when you're the best player. You still got to make the right read.
But in overtime, you have to at least get up a shot before the clock goes off.
Right,
They
right.
didn't even do that. Like, sure, he made the right read, but it doesn't matter because they didn't get their shot off.
But that comes to, why are they not calling a timeout in that situation?
I think both can be true, right? Like, yes, they should have called a timeout, but then they didn't. So Jason Tatum should have recognized he didn't have time to throw it to Marcus Smart.
But why is Smart walking up the, like, he's letting it roll first.
He loves doing that.
He's letting it roll, then he's picking it up, and then so by the time Tatum gets it, there's 7 seconds. Now
Yeah.
you're in rush mode. So it's either I force a shot here or I look for an open pass, and then by the time I get it to Smart, it's too late. But if you call timeout, Shime, in that situation, or even if you're Marcus Smart and you know the time's going, because there was one time towards the end of the game where Marcus gets the ball inbounds, basically goes the length of the court and hawks up a three. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you know this, do what you've done
Yeah.
like before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, though, if LeBron James went to the hole in a game that they're losing by a point in overtime and kicked it out to Marcus Smart? The whole country would be absolutely ripping him, rightfully so.
Yeah. No.
But Wiggy never wants to blame
No,
Tatum for
I don't.
anything.
I'm not. I wouldn't rip LeBron. Listen, Curtis, I'm a basketball fan.
I know.
I don't want my superstar just throwing up a stupid shot.
Nobody
It's
wants him to
not-
throw up a
Wiggy,
stupid shot.
He's
There
5
was-
feet. He's 5 feet away from the basket.
But there was
Jason
3
Tatum.
guys around him.
I know, but so he can get the ball to Smart, but he can't throw a shot up.
But that's what you do. The way he
not
was.
to Marcus Smart. You don't.
But But when you don't have a design play,
Joe Mazzulla said they had. That's their end of gameplay.
Okay.
That's it. That's
So-
their end of gameplay.
so
That's
if-
why it's so ridiculous.
So if that's your end of gameplay, why are you not designing the play to go to Jaylen Brown?
Great
Right.
question for Joe Mazzulla. Great question. There's so many questions for Joe Mazzulla,
And he's so kind in answering all of them.
I'm sure he'll be very polite when you ask him about.
He's got all the
so.
answers except for the ones about timeout.
I watch
right,
every
well.
game, and this will be part of my lead. And there's one thing that when I watch every game from other teams, I know exactly what I'm getting versus for when I watch the Celtics.
Is anyone's lead about my hair? Does my hair look awful today? I'm
No.
looking at the Twitch chat. Good morning to those that watch the show on Twitch. Just go to Twitch and follow WEEI.
Maybe you just need a haircut.
I do need a haircut. I badly need a haircut. And I talked with Barber Nate, and the guy could not squeeze me in this week, which is very frustrating.
That is frustrating.
I may have to pick a new barber.
Yeah.
I really I love Barber Nate, but if I can't get in to see Barber, I mean,
Is that your dude in?
Huh?
Is that your dude in Southie?
Yeah, my guy in Southie couldn't squeeze me in this week. He was all booked up.
I think you've talked about this numerous times for those Twitchers out there that you shower in the morning.
I shower every morning. I was looking at Lori Ivory. I'm sure a marvelous person. and she said, "No disrespect, but Greg looks very disheveled this morning. I don't know what to do with my hair. Like, I don't know.
Put some products
Smooth
in it.
I don't like products.
Like,
So I
don't
think
use brush it.
the smoothing it is the issue. I think it
what,
looks.
just
Yeah,
smoothing
no,
it
no, no. I
down?
think smoothing it is the issue. You've got to like kind of fluff it up.
Fluff it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Now he looks
Okay,
like
we
he has.
get it. You have a head of hair.
He
I
looks
don't.
like he has bedhead.
Oh no, see, I like it looks good now.
You
I
like
think.
it now like
Yeah.
this?
Courtney,
Well, that
would
was
you
kind of
say?
like, no,
Shut
that's
up,
messed.
Courtney.
That looks worse
Right.
to me.
Right, that's
think
you're
that's
better.
in.
He's better off brushing it down and going with the Caesar Leo
All
than he
right,
is.
well.
to-
And by the way, great point in the Twitch chat from Game Dog, who's
Yeah.
comparing Embiid kicking it out to Harden as the same as Tatum kicking it out to Marcus Smart.
well, that's the same situation.
I don't know. One's actually good.
No, but it is the same situation by a superstar not forcing up a
Right.
bad shot.
Harden's also a superstar who scored 46 points in this series.
Embiid also had 20 seconds on the clock. Jason Tatum had 0.9.
Right, but Shime, you can't make a bad decision in that.
Yeah,
you can't. You can't.
Yes, you can. You
No,
have
you can't.
to, Wiggy.
No, you can't.
It compounds on itself.
So if
Joe
he
Mazzulla made a bad decision by not calling a
See,
timeout.
this is what happens when
Jason Tatum continued to make a bad
This is what happens
decision.
when people who know nothing about basketball start talking basketball.
So
if
some of us played the game in high school,
Well,
pal.
you
I'd
have-
rather a bad shot than no shot.
Shine was a volleyball player. So if he drives into the lane, Jason Tatum, and the
Volleyball's a spring
basket
sport.
and the basket is behind him, he should just throw it up over his
does
head.
that
If there's
all the time,
0.9
by the
seconds
way.
on the clock, yes.
No, stop it.
All right.